Hello, welcome to the Professor of Gaming channel. I'm your professor, and this is a channel dedicated to all things video games. Class is in session. Today we are going to learn, as the title states, if Nintendo is winning. Winning what, you might be asking yourself? Well, that's definitely a loaded question. Let's jump right into it, shall we? I want to start off with Sony. After 5.5 years, Sony's PlayStation 5 has the following exclusives: Astrobot, Marvel's Wolverine, Ghost of Yotei Saros, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, Synapse Firewall Ultra, Horizon: Call of the Mountain, Death Stranding 2: On the Beach, Rise of the Ronin, Stellar Blade, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2, for a grand total of 13 games in almost 6 years. I mean, if that's all you've ever known is PlayStation life, then you're like, yeah, it seems about right. We got some games. What's wrong with that? And to be fair, some of those games are amazing. And comparatively to Microsoft's Xbox Series' exclusives, I would answer nothing. It's very respectful. And for the past several years, when you look at gaming channels on YouTube or articles on the interwebs, there's always been the PlayStation versus Xbox thing. Even though Nintendo was ridiculously outselling them, people didn't really want to seem to mention them in the comparison. I always found that strange. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series has 0, yes, you heard that right, 0 exclusive titles, albeit with some apparently finally coming. The console has also been out 5.5 years. Why no games? This is due to the fact that everything is also on PC, hello, Microsoft, duh, as well as being on PS5 or Game Pass, etc. They've changed their business model with Game Pass being front and center. That slogan, everything's an Xbox, didn't pan out very well for Microsoft, eh? They are far from their glory days of the 7th generation with their 360 that dominated that generation, which was neck and neck with the PS3. Yes, the PS3 sold slightly more than the 360. It was an extremely close battle. Microsoft's slogan of everything's an Xbox lost them over $1 billion last year, all from the Xbox game division. So there's a new CEO, and hopefully she continues to bring exclusives to Xbox, which is what she said she wanted to do. So let's give her the benefit of the doubt. We've got to ask Mrs. Asha Sharma, the aforementioned CEO, is it going to be too little, too late? The Nintendo Switch 2, on the other hand, having only been out about a year, stomps all over the competition when it comes to exclusivity as well as physical media output. More on that later. There's even some third-party exclusives for the highly underrated Nintendo Switch 2. Here's the list of Nintendo's first-party exclusives, the original reason people buy Nintendo consoles. And do keep in mind, you might want to take notes. The following may or may not be on tomorrow's pop quiz. Metroid Prime 4, Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, great, Drag X Drive, meh, Kirby Air Riders, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, Splatoon Raiders, addictive, Pokémon Pokopia, Star Fox Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, kind of a game, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. That makes 11 first-party Nintendo exclusives. Not bad at all. There's also some third-party Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives as well. The Duskbloods, from Soft. It isn't out yet, but I'm so excited for that I had to mention it. Fast Fusion Survival, Kids Shine Post, Be Your Idol, Orbitals, looks fun, also not out yet, Tokyo Scramble Card and Casino Pool Room Billiard, eFootball Kickoff. Besides third-party exclusives, there's also a massive amount of third-party support for multi-system games this time around, due to the power of the Switch 2 being in the conversation this time. Capcom, Namco, Square Enix, From Soft, Project Red, Sega, and many other third-party developers are on board. And in past generations, a lot of times if there were games that were playable on both PlayStation and Xbox, 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't come over to Nintendo. This is true for some video game generations and not others. And of course, there's always exceptions to the rule. Bringing it back to exclusivity, there are a combined total of 18 exclusive games. That's just the start of something potentially badass, as we used to say back in the 90s. There's definitely more to come, though, because we haven't heard of or seen anything about a mainline Mario title yet, for Christ's sake. There's not been a brand new Zelda game mentioned, nor a new Pikmin title announced, etc., etc. With 18 exclusive games, the Switch 2 is definitely impressive in that regards, considering we still have like 5 to 7 years, hopefully, of Switch 2 games. And the fact that the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, keep in mind that there are over 300 exclusive titles on the original Switch, some of which have or will have Switch 2 updates, and most will automatically just natively play better due to the increased horsepower. Now let's talk price. The Xbox Series X is now $750 for the 1 terabyte. To be fair, the base model Series S, which the Switch 2 outperforms in most cases, is $499, but it's also digital only. Now on to Sony. After the price increases, the PS5 Pro is $899. Like, excuse me, what? Did I just say that? Anyways, the base model disc variant is now $650, but the digital-only PlayStation 5 is $599. And starting in January of 2028, there will be no more physical media, which is very sad news. And to be honest with you, frankly pisses me off. On to the Nintendo Switch 2, which isn't as bad. The price increase will only be $50 in September, bringing it to $500, which comparatively looks better to consumers. Again, they are winning with that. Now I know it's only 256 gig storage, but it has expandable storage. You can buy up to a 1 terabyte express micro SD card to insert. I know that the Nintendo Switch 2 is not on the same level of the Series X or PS5's graphical and performance capabilities, but it's close. And in some cases, looks and runs better on the Switch 2 than the Series S. Taking into consideration the size difference between the gigantic behemoth that is the PS5 and the monstrous Series X, that's some straight-up voodoo magic Nintendo and Nvidia have there in that tiny little tablet. Did I mention this little thing has DLSS AI upscaling and dedicated hardware cores for ray tracing? Not to mention, it's also capable of 120 frames per second. I see you, Nintendo. Finally, the elephant in the room, physical media. Not everyone is a collector, but enough people like true ownership. The problem is that with purely digital media, you don't get that. Is it the future? Probably, eventually, but not 100% now. Nintendo has more of a lean towards physical media than Sony or Microsoft do, especially the first-party stuff. The argument that game keycards, the latest Nintendo blunder, signifies Nintendo also giving in to a digital-only future. I say nay, it's the opposite. It's Nintendo trying to hold that future at bay a little longer. With physical game keycards, it isn't like a code in the box. You actually have a physical cartridge that has a key code in it, signifying the servers to download the game. You can lend out the game to a friend to play. Unless you are like me and have no friends, you can sell it, trade it, and you actually need it in the cartridge slot to play the game. Having something tangible to signify physicality is awesome. Those are things that digital-only code in the case games cannot do. Taking all that in, I think it's clear, especially recently looking at YouTubers all saying this, that Nintendo is winning, or Nintendo won. Time will tell, much like time proved that graphical fidelity and raw power isn't the key to wildly successful numbers in game hardware sales. as seen with the original Nintendo Switch numbers crushing the competition. The OG Switch, as I like to call it, has become the second highest-selling home console in history, right under the PS2, which magically came up with 5 million extra units sold way after they had long quit selling them. Coincidence? I think not. Anyways, luckily this trend seems to be continuing with the second Nintendo Switch record-breaking sales. Fastest-selling console in history with 3.5 million units sold in the first 4 days, and then nearly 21 million units sold within the first 12 months. I had a sales coach once tell me, numbers don't lie. I still love PlayStation though, and I really like Xbox. Or at least I should say, some of the games that come out of some of the studios owned by Xbox. But both of those companies have been making decisions that make Nintendo look like the good guy, and the Switch 2, the gaming enthusiast's console. I think verbiage and nomenclature do play a part in perception. For example, I think the connotation attached to the word gamer has become negative and toxic. That's actually saying something. So I prefer the term gaming enthusiast. So, to summarize, Nintendo has more robust first-party titles, more exclusive games, has more physical media, can be portable, unmentioned bonus, has the entirety of the original Switch backlog, massive third-party support, AI upscaling, and to top it all off, it costs less than the competition. The Nintendo Switch 2 has become the gaming enthusiast console, and that is why Nintendo is winning. Thanks for watching ya. As always, keep on gamin' and share and like for me if you would. Class dismissed.